The Garden of Eden, last part, or final chapter, for now at least. Master, Matthew nearly shouted at him, pale and smiling. Master, the young man was very animated. Is it possible that the Garden of Eden was actually the garden word of the Etienne? I mean, you describe it as a paradise, and certainly if everything is as you described it. Matthew suddenly stopped. He had made an error. I'm sorry, Master, he apologized. I'm certain it is as you described it. I'm just excited about the possibility that the Garden of Eden and the Garden of the Eden might be one and the same. There has been man. There has been Pangaea, Pan, the land of Pan. There has been Lumeria Garden in the South Pacific, and has been Atlantis. So there has been many gardens. So which garden they are talking about? And there's no such thing as a garden as the religionist tells about garden after death. No such thing. Can you imagine after death? Yeah, you do. You can imagine. As long as you keep on carrying with you your mind, the hologram of your mind is still attached to your causal body. Yes, you still can imagine that you are having a garden, that you go through all those places, unimaginable ones, if with golden cathedrals, golden mosques, golden temple, etc., shimmering temples. There are people who have seen that, but it's just like, say, it's a mirage. Okay, it's a mirage, or it's something that have had here on earth. And Atlantis one is between Americas and Europa, as it was called a long time ago. Do not apologize, Matthew. Per shook his head. Per is a Scandinavian name. Be not afraid to challenge any of our teachings. You must not blindly accept my words, so do not hesitate to question any of what I say to you. Accept nothing, question everything, challenge everyone. It's important that you do so. If the words are true, they stand on their own and need not the reputation of the person who utters them for their veracity. Matthew was relieved. Now, Per said, in regards to the possible link between the Garden of Eden and the garden world of the Etienne, let us proceed together, Matthew, and see if we can provide evidence for or against the argument that the two might be the same place. Matthew pulled out 7 sheets of paper. He didn't want to miss a single word on this one. It was too good and too important. In ancient languages, Matthew, Per began, the sound of the letter T and the letter D were interchangeable. Just and could have been written Eden. I knew it, Matthew smiled. And of course, Eden and Eden are apparent conates. Assuming that the garden word of the Etienne is as I have described it, Per looked at Matthew and smiled. Matthew smiled back. Then, what do you know of the Garden of Eden? Per asked. To find out, we must turn to the book which first introduces the Garden of Eden to humankind. There's not the Garden of Eden, that's not the one, man, from the Bible. Please, please. The Bible. Bear reached for the large copy on the desk and began to thumb through it. And Peck exclaimed, "Here it is." Handing the Bible to Major, he asked, "Would you be so kind as to read the passages about the Garden of Eden? Please, Major." Major took the book and began to look at the passages. Someone had already marked it. The pertinent passages Major began to read. From the book of Genesis, chapter 2, blah, 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 and the Lord planted a garden eastward in Eden. There's no such thing. The Lord was the Anunnakis from Orion and Sirius, and the world invaded the other overlord, including the Queen of Orion. Okay, and there he put the man whom he had formed. However, before they ever came here, there were already things here. There's already nature, because the atoms who created everything, the quarks, the atoms, not them. There's no such thing as alien monsters god. If the reptilian, oh police, police. Verse 9, and out of the ground made the Lord God to grow every tree that is pleasant to the sight and good for food. The tree of life was in the midst of the garden, and the tree of knowledge of good and evil. Verse 10, and a river went out of Eden to water the garden, and from thence it was parted and became into 4 heads. Verse 11, the name of the first person that is it which compasseth the whole land, or Havilah, where there is gold. It was found on earth already when they first came here. Verse 12, and the name of the second river is Gihon, or Gihon. The same is it that compassed the whole land of Ethiopia. What Ethiopia has? Only famine, some ugly town. Verse 13, and the God of the land is good, so good that there's a lot of famine over there. There is bdellium and the onyx stone. So what? Everywhere there are some minerals. Verse 14, and the name of the third river is Hiddekel. That is it which goeth toward the east of Assyria, and the fourth river is Euphrates. Verse 15, and the Lord God took the man, the Lord, the reptilians, gods, overlords who invaded the earth, took the man and put him into the Garden of Eden, took that people over there, and then they placed in their own DNA into them, and create a man called Adam. However, not say create, but then they fluke someone there, a woman there who is also very cheeky woman, and then they born these other beings who were they call it semi-god, or Adam, Adapa. His name was Adapa, not even Adam, but Adapa, and after that came Adamu, born from the sister of this man. Of this not man, is a reptilian man, Enki, and I put him into the Garden of Eden to dress it and keep it. You mean Africa, is it? But not the Western? No. Not the Occident. Occident was already on their own. Ones have their own kind of life. It's nothing to do with Africa. Nothing. That was later. After the new chapter that they had invented. And the present timeline. But the past timeline, the world was different. And the Lord God commanded the man, saying, of every tree of the garden you must freely eat. Oh my God, so dramatic. But of the tree of the knowledge, which is the knowledge that they have kept away from us, the knowledge of who we were, that's mean now, from now on, all the other races are to be dead. There's no such race to this earth but ours, the one that we helped to contribute with our sperm and our DNA and our reptilian eggs. Understand? That's how it happened. And no such thing, oh, because men come from Africa, straight from Africa, oh, men come from Adam and Eve. No such thing. No such thing. Gaia just explode like this. Just explode like this, okay? And the Lord God, but the tree of knowledge of good and evil you shall not eat of it. For in the day that you eatest thereof, you shall surely die. There is no such thing as the evil. They who brought the evil here. The good and evil they are talking about is the knowledge that they came here and then they manipulated everything and changed everything. From the Holy Bible, the King James Version. May you finish it and put the book down. Let us note, Major, per beginning, that the very first line in the Holy Bible tells us that the garden is not Eden itself. It's not. What this passage tells us is that the garden is in Eden, in, and not Eden themselves. Or maybe there were many Eden scattered around this earth. Only that the one in Africa War One, in the West Atlantis, in the East we had Lemuria, Sumeria, Sumer, etc. It would actually be more courageous to call the paradise that Adam lived in the garden in Eden, and if it is in Eden, then it's a perfect description of the garden world that is in the atom, Mesha said. Correct, Mesha. I smiled. But let us now say that this is quite a remarkable coincidence, Mesha. Mesha marveled at Per's caution. If you look to the ancient languages of Sumer and Akkadian, we find that the word Eden means a plain or steppe, with the implication that they are quite fertile. In essence, they carry the essence of fertile flatlands. The garden world of the Eden was a fertile place. Was it not, Master? Mesha asked. Yes, Mesha, Per answered him. It was, but we must still have further confirmation before we can convincingly say that the Eden and Eden are one and the same. Now, if we look to the Hebrew origins of the word Eden, we find that the primary root is the word Eden, which actually means to live voluptuously or be giant. A giant is stature, which is the reptilians are tall, and when they create this hybrid from Africa, which was not fair skinned at all, he was black, everything has been inverted. Exactly, Mesha smiled again. It's another way of saying that they lived the fruitful lives, that they lived in a paradise world like that which was in the Eden, or they were tall, giant. Speaking of paradise, Mesha, continued, if you look at the ancient Greek language, we shall find that the word paradise, the word ascribed to the Garden of Eden, actually means an enclosure, or the earth. Another coincidence, Mesha smiled even more. Now, Mesha, Per continued, what would you say if I told you that the Hebrew word for tree was pronounced Etz. Etz could be vegetation, nature, etc. Trees. Etz made you wonder. Suddenly it hit him. At you eyes, at US master. Meta grinned broadly. In the language of the stars, the term Etius would mean one who is of the earth. The trees of the garden are the subjects of the earth. Vegetation, forests. Another coincidence, master. This is wonderful. Which the reptilian race come here and devastate everything. Look at Africa. Most of it is barren. Barren. The Middle East all barren. The seas of Europe barren. Asian barren of trees. This is wonderful. Masha remembered that the Celtic people always spoke of the three people, because there are three people here, sentient beings, with the reptilian come in, and then the Draco, the reptilian come in, and then they infiltrate into the rocks, the minerals, the trees, the oceans, etc. Okay, because they want to take part of all this, because this way they will best control from within the system and change everything from therein. And there is stories of the ancient ones. Some of ancient ancestors were trees, and from there on we made our houses. I have spoken this in another videos, that we made our houses from the trees, right? Until those beings stepped in. And here's another important fact measure passage. The suffix I am means those who are at the side of, or can be I am can be also a guardian. Okay, when they take over certain, okay, you're gonna take care of that colony, you're gonna take care of that certain people lineage, you're gonna enter in their family lineage. They infiltrate everything and they become the I am self. So a title that implies people who have higher standing than those who are of, you see. So we have a guardian, we have our aim self, because they took over our lineage, our ancestral. Though you, knowing this, can tell me what the name of the high ranking individuals of the earth would be? May supposed, then answered, Eti I am master, as I am master. Then his eyes popped open. As I am, he repeated, as I am, Eti I am, would also be Adi I am, which is the same as Adam. Good Lord, the name Adam means high-ranking individuals of the AT, or the garden of Africa. Garden of Africa alone, no others. Because now this Adapu, not Adam, but Adapu now, is an hybrid. And he was not fair at all. That's a lie. Higher than the Etiais, and Adam was the high-ranking individual of the Garden of Eden. It fits. Adam of Eden is Etiayam, the atom. Another one, master. Another coincidence. Good God, Mate was excited and stunned by this discovery. I am not, because I know already. Adam was an inhabitant of an enormous starship. Good God, how will I ever be able to tell anyone? Yes, Misha, perceived. But the term I am, which means those who are at the side of, or is the guardian, also implies those who take care of, is the steward, the husband. ATIM, which also means those who take care of. Like Adam was supposed to take care of the Garden of Eden. Masha said with even more excitement. It works, master. It works. It must be true. Hey, relax, Major. You are very gay. Relax. Pack kept going. And consider this, Major. Yet another quote. But this one from the book of Ezekiel in the Bible, chapter 31, verse 9. And this quote of the patriarch Ezekiel is describing Adam in the Garden of Eden. It reads, I have made him fair by the multitude of his branches. It describes a tree, so that all the trees of Eden that were in the Garden of God invited him. What could it be? Could it be a tree covered with snow, fair? Because Adam was not fair at all. Neither is the trees, which were green once they come here and changed everything. Our former vegetation here were blue, not green. Mesha was a little confused. What this verse say, Mesha? Beck explained. Is that the ashes, trees of the garden were evils of the Adamah men. The 8 eyes of the garden were evils of the ATM. The lower ranking inhabitants of the atom were jealous of the status that the ATM held and the AT starship. What he's trying to say here is that the inhabitants, the common one, okay, who already were here when they first invaded the earth, were jealous of this very tall hybrid reptilian man called Adapu, okay, and then later came the Adapa, which is a cousin of Adapu, a set, a boy and a girl, and Adapu and Tichi. Adapu and Tichi. Adamu came later from the reptilian woman, and Eve. Adamu and Eve were brother and sister. Adapa, Adam, and Tichi were sisters. Another one, Mr. let out, another coincidence. Master, is it true? This is just another confirmation that Eden and the atom are one and the same. Cool down, Major, cool down. You are very, very, very frenetic. The argument has been made, Major. Pei smiled. But let us not become too comfortable with our position. Let us continue. Remember the quote wherein God says that he made Adam fair by the multitude of his branches. Which kind of a branch, which kind of a tree was Adam made of? Huh? Covered with snow to be fair? Yes, Matthew nodded. Let us carefully look at the phrase. Adam is made fair by all of the branches that he has. Beck continued. The Hebrew word for fair is Dahlia. That's the name my ex-in-laws wanted to give me. They are Muslim Malays. They want to give me this name. Luck for me, I want to take it out. And the government of this country, which is not Muslims, also want to take out. Didn't accept, neither I accept. I want my birth name. Just in Hebrew, this phrase would actually read, Adam is made fair by all of the Dahlia that he has. Oh, so Dahlia is the name fair. Well, I'm very fair. I'm very... And the sun, I'm milky white. But I can become, However, I didn't want this name. I don't like this name, Dahlia. Meso wrote the word down. D-A-L-I-A-A-N. I didn't like that. I hate this name. I hate it. And he say what? It means servant of Allah. Who is Allah? Allah is this entity from the Orion. This female reptilian entity. Her name was called something like Allah She has many name, yeah, Aya, and my cat, yeah, I just called her Yaya. I don't know why suddenly came in my mind this name Yaya. One of my cats called Yaya and Lala. Her name also is Lala, and I didn't know it until now that her name can be Dahlia, Yaya. She has a lot of name, Lala, Allah. Her name is Allah. Now, to understand the hidden meaning, we must look at the root for the word Dahlia. Simply, the root is actually Dalla. The term Dahlia is actually the combination of two words, Dalla and Ya. But Ya is a term that you should recognize, Mecha. Mecha immediately saw the name of the queen, Ya or Ya, at the end of the word. Ya, he said right away. Is it the name of the queen? It is the name of the queen, Aya. It is a word that has to refer to the queen. The word Dala followed by Ya must mean something like the Dala of Queen Aya. Oh, good grief. The name of my cat, the nickname of my ex-mother-in-law. Exactly, I smiled. The phrase Adam is made fair actually reads Adam is made Dala of Aya. Nature was still not clear what that meant. To understand the real meaning nature, we must reconstruct the word Dala in the manner of ancient languages of which Hebrew certainly qualifies. To begin with, remember that the sounds T and D were often interchanged in ancient languages. I have a out of the bad experience 2 days ago, and after this material came to me, and I saw a lot of names in Hebrew that it was spoken, and I don't know Hebrew at all, and it was another word that's not Hebrew, it's ancient languages, and I've seen the cosmos oscillating, I've seen the void, I've seen pattern that looks like freckles of is a dendritic freck, but of course not dendritic. Of course, it was like platinum, shiny silver color from the stars, and how it all oscillated. I saw it swirling around, oscillating, and then I saw shape it taking form like is a snake, but then it has a kind of Draco face, something like that. It's a snake. I saw it taking shapes and forms. And what else I seen? Yeah, and I saw the void. It was totally black, from which sprout some kind of pale white colors, and I see colors from the white that turns into a spectrum of several colors, especially so the purple and the blue, and I see other places where it was all orange. I'm not sure whether it was the sun, but it was totally orange or yellowish color. But I see that the spectrum were most like the creation was black and white together, the yin and the yang, and I saw all the void. It was very strange, and I made a kind of sound, guttural sound, and a breathing sound as I experienced all that, and something was giving birth. I cannot describe it. I become breathless, and I saw that my body, my something outside inside of me want to come out, and I become very feel like pins and needles in my body, and all kind of strange sensation taking over my body. But I snapped from that trance before I become worse, because I was breathing very, very, very laboriously and very fast. Can you tell me, Matthew, use your new knowledge of linguistic power, what the word terra could mean, Matthew? Terra means terra, earth. So to understand the real meaning, Matthew, we must reconstruct the word Dala in the manner of ancient languages, of which Hebrew totally qualifies. To begin with, remember that the sounds T and D were often interchangeable in ancient languages. Thus, the word Dala could actually be written Tala. Tala means divorce in Arabic and in Aramaic or Hebrew or Yiddish. I don't know. Matthew wrote the word down. The Tala means divorce in Arabic. But ancient language also interchanged the sounds L and R. Thus, our word Dala, which is now Tala, could also be written Tara or Terra. Can you tell me, Matthew, using your new knowledge of linguistic parts, what the word Terra could mean, Matthew? Terra means terra, to me at least. Terra or Gaia or Earth. Terra, Matthew must look at the word carefully, then it hit him. It's like the suffix uta, is just like terra, and terra is another form of master. Terra must be terra, or of the ether, or ether, ether, ether or matter. Matthew guessed it must mean those who are the ether, or in other words, those who are of the essence. The phrase Adam is made terra. No. Terra is terra, but it has nothing to do with Adam at all. Or it can be also ether, the ether, and matter, from which the quarks created everything solid. But his S actually means SEIM is made one of the ether by his ethos. Matthew was momentarily confused. HEM is made of the ether by the ethos, repeated. ATM is accepted by the subject of the 18 to the fold. Wow, Matthew thought to himself. Adam is made a part of the garden wood. He is accepted by the beings of the garden. No. Terra means terra, earth, and matter, or ether. But not without some jealousy, just like some of the angels were not happy with the creation of Adam and some of the old stories. But nevertheless, Adam becomes part of the garden. Perry smiled that smile of his. Did you know, Mesha, he said, that the term Dala also means to deliver or to let it down? Right, Matthew smiled, as in to deliver something in the essence or to let it down from the ether. It also fits, Master. Perry smiled at him. There is yet one more aspect to this most remarkable root word, Allah, Matthew. He continued to smile. It is also the foundation of the word Bidallah, a word which Bidallah, Abdullah, Abdulla, or servant of Allah, servant of the Queen of Orion. Okay? Nobody knows it, so let's break it down. A word which has been translated as Bediliama in the Bible. Bidallah, Abdullah, servant of Allah, servant of the Queen. Matthew was paused again. Read verse 13 again, Matthew pick up the Bible. Verse 13 he began, and the God of the land is good. Oh, so good that we have famine there. There is Bedilium and the onyx stone. So what? Matthew now jumped. Bedilium! Hey, relax, Matthew. You are very frenetic. cool down your your I mean, the rooster. Cool down, cool down. He said loudly. Bethlehem was in Adam. The word Bala means of the ether, and Bethlehem means Bethlehem. Bethlehem also means of the ether, master. It makes our point again. Eden is that, relax, you have been repeating this for so long. Yes, Mashubet knew that the term Bethlehem in Abdullah means the ether. Bethlehem is an element basic to the mighty atom. The argument becomes even stronger. Matthew is still excited. Perhaps you also enjoy these next few words as much, Matthew said. I will wait for you to get another sheet of paper. I think you will want to record them. Matthew angrily reached for another sheet. That was amazing, he thought to himself. Now, this reptilians does not give everything exactly, simply because if we come from a human vessels, we doesn't filter everything that it need to be filtered. Just we make mistake, okay? But they are not telling everything here. Not tell the means of the words. The discovering that the Garden of Eden might quite possibly be an enormous globe, which is the earth, Terra, it's Terra. It is Terra, the earth. Was so difficult to know. Enormous globe, an enormous starship will be very difficult for many people to believe. They will, of course, say that such technology simply could not exist millions of years ago. Boy, that's for sure. But let us see if any ancient languages from humankind's own past present us with any evidence that the mighty Aten, which I have spoken of, did indeed exist. Meisha was sure that they would, and he would write every word down. In the ancient Akkadian language, the term Hatanu means to fly and to protect. Bingo! Hatanu and atom sound alike, essentially mean the same thing. Meisha smiled to himself, score one for the atom's existence. In Hebrew, the term atin means a receptacle, and it also means a breast. Another one, Meta thought, a receptacle is a container. The asham is a container, and a breast absolutely indicates a female as in she, the queen, of course. So she is the Gaia, she is the Terra, she is the Earth. Is it she the Earth could be the breast of the Mother Earth? And the females that resides in here. After all, we have more breast. Our boobs are bigger than any reptilian. Reptilians have the boobs the size of a grape, right? Humans have bigger groins. Humans have bigger breast, boobs, buttocks, etc. A receptacle is a container. The atom is a container, and a breast absolutely indicates a female as in she, the queen, of course. In Hebrew, the term it means to swoop down or on or to fly. Bingo, Matu said again, the eti and it. In Hebrew, the term it means a hawk, a bird of prey. Another 80 piece, Matthew thought. Bingo, relax. A bird of prey means Horus, when he took a shape of the birds they found in here on earth. In Hebrew, the term ed means to advise, everlasting, word without end. In Bhuti or pray, at becomes ad, the at advises and is everlasting, but word without end. My God, how much closer can you get? Another In Hebrew, the term ad means a witness or a prince. At becomes ad, that becomes ad. A witness is one who watches or one who uses his eye, and a prince implies royalty. sounds like another to me. In Hebrew, the term Ada means to alter, to remove, to take away, or to advise. Etr of the et, to remove, take away, to advise, chep, yep, yup. Those are things of the eti. In Hebrew, the term Ida is feminine and means an assembly, a multitude, people, or a state assemblage. Etr becomes Edir, which becomes Ida of the et, in assembly, a multitude, a people, absolutely another bingo. In Hebrew, the term Adon comes from a seldom used root word that means to rule. Ida also is a space of the, not say space, but is a period of time when a man and a woman divorce in their culture. Okay, it's a time period that gives for these two people to reconcile again. In Hebrew, the term Adon comes from a seldom used root word that means to rule. It also means a divine controller or lord and master. In fact, the later Greek terms Adonis is derived from Adon. The Etienne was a divine controller. It was the symbol of the power of the queen. Bingo! Another... I'm irritating here. In Hebrew, the term Adonai is a very strong and emphatic form of Adon. Adonai was actually believed to be the proper name of God. Ashiei at N in the queen's name A is that incredible what? Mesha was absolutely amazed and very pleased. And finally, Mesha in Hebrew, the term Eden means the foundation of something, the most basic aspect of something. It also means the foundation of a building. Of course, Matthew realized that the Essen as the most powerful ship in the Queen's armada of ships was the foundation stone of the fleet. Bingo again! Asian and Edom are one and the same. I'm sure of it. 18 and Eden are one and the same. I'm sure of it. Relax. Matthew was beaming. It was true. Master, Matthew was absolutely convinced. All of these words support the idea that there was such a thing as the atom starship long ago. And that starship as you described it had a garden world in its core. It is true, the Garden of Eden is the garden world of the atom. Per nodded his approval. Do not stop writing, Major, Per said. There are chat a few more words. More? Major was surprised. And chat he wants it. In the ancient Greek, athenizo means to gaze with great intent and to fasten one's eyes on something. In Latin, attinere means to reach for something and to hold fast to it. Okay, the Athenian reaches for new words and holds tightly to them. Bingo again. In Latin, attonere means to thunder at in such a way that you stun someone. The Essen rose through the skies. The sound weapons emitted the stun rays. Bingo! In Arabic, adan means to damage or to harm or even to cause injury. So it causes injury. Yes, the Essen definitely causes damage and causes harm and injury. Bingo! And again in Arabic, idin means if God chooses or if God is willing. That one is inshallah. God willing, makes you wondered for a moment. Oh, of course, an act of God. What the action does has to be interpreted as the actions of the Divine One and given. The action is an idea in an act of God. Bingo! pen had stopped. Meshu was still writing. When he looked up, the master was silent. Meshu nearly exploded. Master, he was excited. How can anyone argue? The atom existed. Hey, relax, relax. Everybody knows. Hey, relax. All of these ancient languages have roots words that point to its existence. It was an incredible starship that held an incredible garden world, and it was the Garden of Eden. Master, it is true. It really is true. Relax. It would certainly seem so, Major, he said, but let us not become complacent. Let us continue in our search. If the ancient was real, then should we not find that the other names of the Etienne are also reflected the ancient language of our world? Major stopped. Yes, actually, he thought to himself, that should be true. What were the other names of the Etienne, Major? He asked. Major looked through his notes. Some of the pages fell on the floor. Etienne, HNR, SNR, and a BR, Terra, or Atlantis. Major answered, stooping over to pick them up. Very well. He stood up and walked over to one of the shelves of books. Let us look at some of the other names of the ancient and see if we can find them in other languages. Meshu was read. The following word is ancient Egyptian, Meshu. Ar is the name of an edified bird. Ar is a name for a kind of stone or rock. Ar is also a word that means to come or to go up to something, as in the ascent. Ara is a word that means to go up, to embark in a boat, or to be high. Ara is a word that means to be high or to be exalted. Bingo, bingo, bing! Shh! Score 5 more for the ancient existence, Meshu smiled. The following word is ancient Hebrew. The words are and year, year means a city that has a constant worshipful eyes. Horus has a worshipful eyes, the eyes of Horus. Wow, Meshu thought to himself, any city in the garden world is a city in the eye. The word araf means to demolish or to break up. It also means to raise up. The word yar means worshipful. Watchful means to use the eye, Meshu thought. The word ra'ah or ra'eh means to see, to gaze at, to look at, to stare. Ra'ah or arahim, raha or arham, but to smiled, or the R, of course, and also means to use the eye. Matu smiled very, very smugly. The Arahim can be also merciful. Raha has another meaning, Meshu. It means a bird of prey. Big Meshu smiled. The Ara is a bird of prey. The word you means to wake up, to open the eyes, to use the eyes. Bingo, another one, Meshu smiled. And the word really means a looking glass. Huh? Meshu suddenly stopped to smile. A looking glass? I do not understand this one, Master. He said. What does that mean, looking glass? I smiled. In ancient Egypt, Meshu, the word for looking glass was ancient. Bingo, bingo, Meshu was grinning again. And the last word is iron, Meshu. It's an ancient Greek word that means to take up or to take away. Another one, Meshu grinned. My list is getting extremely long. The R and the Hashem absolutely existed. And now for the other title of the Etienne, the Ashir. Remember, Meshu, these are but a few of the words that pepper the ancient languages. There are many, many more. In time, you'll have to find them. For now, these words I give you are a starting point. In the ancient Hebrew, Ata means to form a circle to attack. A circle for attack, the SM globe, bingo. In ancient Arabic, atara and ata means to influence or to make an impression. They also mean to pursue, to follow, or to attract, could be to attract. Ata means fragrancy, to follow and to take possession of, also. Possession of. Good, yes, another couple of hits. The ancient Syrians called their gods of war and the shades Bear, is it Ba or Bear or Bir? Bear said without hesitation or stamping. Ba from BR, the other name for Ashen in Bar, is the same as BR, the Ashen could usually be referred to as the god of war in the shades. Bingo again! In ancient Egypt, the word Ba meant greatness of eye. Bingo! The word Bar itself always meant eye. Double bingo! In ancient Hebrew, the word Biara meant to look with pleasure. Another word that means to use the eye, and Per said with some emphasis. Do you remember the title which meant the container of containers, or the house of the houses, Mesha? Mesha looked at his notes. Yes, master, he found it. The title is BB or BBB. Did you know, Mesha, Per said, in ancient Egypt, one form of Baba meant cave or abode in the earth, a home in the earth? Exactly, Mesha smiled again. Other forms of Baba meant to fly, to kill, to slay, and to use force. Absolutely, still more bingos. Oh, shut up. In ancient Hebrew, Baba meant hollowed out. Also, there's a name for it in Hindu and Sanskrit Hindu. In Mesha, it also means the pupil of the eye. Super double bingo, Mesha was excited. In the ancient Arabic, the term Babu means the innermost part, the source, the origin, and the pupil of the eye. The pupil of the eye. Another one, the source of things and the origin of things. Mesha was very excited. More proof that atom existed. Remember, Mesha, Per reminded him. These are but a few of the many words that can be found in the ancient languages of our history. You will find many more, but let us just acknowledge for now that there is sufficient evidence to support the existence of the ATN in a past distant past. Matthew could not agree more. He was absolutely convinced. The atom existed and was the source of the legend of the Garden of Eden. Master, Matthew was excited. Master, is it no wonder that no one has ever found the Garden of Eden? It never actually existed on our world. I believe that, but I was wondering, is it possible? We have also never been able to find convincing evidence of the existence of the continent of Atlantis on Earth. There are, moron, there are, just because it is below water. It's below water. For us to see it, the ocean has to dry, some lakes has to dry. Try Lake Titicaca in Peru. Try the big lake there in Russia, in the Antarctica. Try many other giant lakes in North America. In the Amazon in South America. The Nile. And many other fonts of water on Earth. And the Yangtze River in China, in the Gobi in China. There is a lot of mystery below the mountains, in the waters, etc. Okay, so there has been such a city before. It's Atlantis, Sumeria, Lemuria, and many more. Pan, the land of Pan, was existent, and now it is on the bottom of the earth. in the hollow at Agartha. Okay, there has been. So these guys here didn't know yet. Could it be the paradise word that Plato has described long ago? And it's not Greek. It was not in Egypt. No, 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 no. It was between Europe and Americas, and very close to these two continents. Very, very close. And if not, it was made part of Americas and Europe. And yeah, they made part of Atlantis. Atlantis was all that and more. Okay, and now also another big clue is there in North Atlantic, and Canada also, and Canada was near the Russia already, let's say, border to Russia, and the Central Americas there, in Bermuda's Triangle. You will find the lost world of Atlantis, and this buried in there. In the Mariana Trench, over there holds the key to the lost world, Mariana's Trench. Listen to me, one day you'll see that I was right. So the Atlantis could be the paradise world that Plato didn't know much. Plato thought that it was Imperials or Athens, but it wasn't. I always knew back in the 80s, as a young woman yet, in my early 20s, that it was either in North America, then Canada, going all the way to Antarctica, and it was also the Antarctic Ocean. Okay, the Antarctic Ocean, all down to South America. Also Europe, next to Europe. Also they did trade with Greece, commerce with Greece, and ancient Egypt. However, they were not very friendly. These people were not friendly. Lemuria and Atlantis was not very friendly. Could also be in the Athens, could be the continent of the Atlantis, ALSK, had been a ship in space. No, that's not true. It was here on Earth. The names Athens and Atlantis are similar sound, but they have the same root. Matu felt his excitement rise. What a discovery that would be. To his disappointment, Per shook his head from side to side. Matthew was surprised. He was sure that Atlantis was Auski, the world-sized starship. No, it wasn't. Matthew looked up at Per. Per smiled back at him. You are too quick to abandon your theory, young one, Per said. If you believe that you may have a discovery at hand, do not stop your investigation merely because you have been told you are wrong. I'm not like that. I always think that I'm wrong. I'm right. I never give up my theories. Never. And a man of it comes true. I did not shake my head because you are wrong. I was shaking my head because I marveled at the status, Nancy, of your question. Statute, Nancy, or cleverness of your question. You are truly an intelligent young man, capable of wondrous thought. Matthew was surprised. Per had not been denied him. He had been impressed with the question. But Matthew also realized that Per was right. He had been too quick to abandon his idea. As he looked up to Per, the elder immediately began to speak. That is an excellent thought, Matthew, he said. Perhaps we should examine the possibility that the ancient was not only Eden, but that it was also the lost continent of the long ago world of Atlantis. Of course, and it was between Europe and Americas. It did trade with Greece and ancient Egypt. and it was up to Canada, west now Canada. All this melted, not melted. This is snow thing there. This is ice. Towards the continent of Atlantic stretched all the way down to Amazon. Pause it for a moment. I believe you should take out more paper, my young friend, he said. I think you will need it. Major was get excited again. He reached for more paper. This is going to be